And the other items, after you've been sprayed down 3 different times at successive times at 5 or 10 minute intervals, are going to have to be hung up in full sunlight on say, your back porch or deck. The decontamination procedures are fairly complicated. People need to think these things through. They need to get a hold of the supplies they need now. In another month, things like nitrile gloves and N95 masks and booty covers and Tyvek suits are going to be virtually unobtainable. They will either be completely sold out in the civilian market, or they will be sidelined, basically corralled into government service by executive order. If people haven't already stocked up, they are behind the power curve. So it's important that people think these things through, that they stock up, team up, and be prepared to hunker down for an extended period of time.
That's right. And again, I've never been obsessed with the biological warfare threat until the last 6-7 years, because I saw the movements, the preparations for a biological catastrophe, and I saw the political brainwashing in the media, the preparations, and then I saw the accelerated mutations of bacteria and viruses just wiping out people in mass every winter. Hospitals just full of mystery illnesses the last 3-4 years. I lost 3 family members this year to a mystery chest illness, 2 of them that were in good shape. And the hospital doctors said, my God, it's just regularly mutated bacteria just eating people's lungs. And so even if this Ebola comes and passes like the angel of death, which I pray it will, government's doing, as you said, batting 1,000 to make it as bad as possible. Which shows it's clearly on purpose, folks. You can't be so perfectly inept that you do the exact most horrible thing when it's easier to do the right thing. And politically easier, and everyone's telling you do it, and you won't. We are in the hands of such evil people. And I now, just today, realize the 2 old gas masks I've got that are N95s, I mean, I got some for the kids, but the 2 adult ones, the candles and food and, you know, guns and all that, I've got to go out and get the gloves, the booties, the tape. I've got to prepare for all that stuff and just pray, because if it gets out there, and here's why I'm really concerned, James. They said you have to vomit into an open wound or all this, and they had the Texas board say last week, we have the clip, that, you know, it's basically 0 chance you can get it. And then 2 nurses got it. Clearly it's gotten more viral. Clearly it's spreading. It's got to be hundreds of times worse than the previous one that was 30-something people. This is now 4,000 plus dead, probably a whitewash number. They're talking about millions getting it. Something has changed with the Ebola. And it's surviving longer in particular. Maybe it's gone somewhat airborne. Maybe it dies in 5 minutes in sunlight. I don't know. But you know, they said, oh, that's Africans. They're undernourished. That's why it's killing them. Well, it's killing people, and people are getting it over here. What does your gut tell you, James, being in NBC in the Army, you know, doing the research, writing about this for decades, talking to all the other experts? A lot of top virologists are saying they believe it's beginning to go somewhat airborne, meaning it's not hardy, but that the virus itself, like you said, can float around in very small, you know, globulates of mucus or spit, and that it's crossed some bridge. Clearly, it takes 21 days to gestate. Clearly, it's going longer. Something's happened, James. It's getting stronger. I don't think we can debate that, can we?
No, I think it clearly has had some mutations. The question is, has there been a receptor mutation that would make it more easily transmissible with just a droplet contacting your skin, for example? If it's a case of a virus that can only be transmitted if it touches a mucous membrane or your eye, then you might have a pretty good chance of having this thing stopped. But if it's something where just one droplet touches the human skin and can be absorbed, then we're in trouble. Or if it's something that can survive inside the proboscis of a mosquito, and for an extended period of time, say anywhere from 1 to 24 hours, then we're in deep, deep trouble.
Well, I think it clearly can if it's living in testicles or in sperm for 70 days, James.
Well, so basically have to prepare for the worst and pray for the best. And we need to, if nothing else, pray for God's providence and protection for individual families, because it may come down to that. We need to get right with God, pray fervently about this, and then listen to the Holy Spirit. You know, if you feel convicted to prepare folks, get ready. Get the food supplies.
Well, I've been feeling it for about a year. I mean, I've told everybody, I think really, I've never talked like this. I think the hammer's about to come down, and I feel it right now. I don't even know if it's this. It might be something else. Because you notice just all these crises are now unfolding right now, James.
Well, yes. We're kind of on the cusp of a crisis here, a major crisis. And there's been a lot of different factors that are all playing into it. Economic, sociological, political, and now epidemiological.
Yep, James, stay there. I want to ask you about their vaccine. They've now got the head of the NIH saying everybody should be forced to take it. It's now started.
This hour brought to you by InfidelBodyArmor.com. When it hits the fan, don't be left without the body armor that will save your life. With prices starting at just $374.99 and ships free. Get yours at InfidelBodyArmor.com. Just won't quit.
Hi, Ted Anderson with Midas Resources. Is it time to convert paper 401ks and IRAs to solid gold and silver yet? Get our 10 Reasons book free. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Next to water and food, you need a safe, storable fuel supply for your preparedness needs. Spare Fuel is the answer. Spare Fuel can be used in any gas-powered vehicle or generator. Spare Fuel is perfect for any unforeseen out-of-gas emergencies. Unlike gasoline, Spare Fuel is safe to store with your other supplies, and it can be stored for many years. Go to GetSpareFuel.com for special pricing. That's GetSpareFuel.com.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. SilverLungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at SilverLungs.com. That's SilverLungs.com.
It's already too late. Criminals have kicked in your door and are now in your home. Before this happens, homeowners have a choice. 1, do nothing and hope you aren't one of the 1.4 million families attacked each year. Or 2, refuse to be a victim. And for as low as $59, reinforce your doors with Door Devils. Door Devils simply attach to existing door frames and have proven to stop the biggest bad guys from kicking in doors. Read our police testimonials of real-life events at DoorDevil.com. Alarms don't stop kick-ins. We do. DoorDevil.com.
Do you lay awake at night and worry about the health and safety of you and your loved ones? Do you wonder what would happen if you weren't able to get to a hospital or doctor? How can you keep your family safe against the deadly pathogens that are beginning to emerge in the world today? Give yourself peace of mind with Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver is turning heads around the world as a new weapon in the fight against bacteria, viruses, and fungus. Supernatural Silver can be taken internally or used topically to help the body's own immune system fight off disease much more effectively. Supernatural Silver has been tested at independent universities and laboratories around the world and has been proven to be safe and highly effective against some of the planet's deadliest pathogens. There is no better product to have in your home for daily use or emergency preparedness. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, use the code SILVER2014 for 20% off, and give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance with Supernatural Silver.
Veterans are on secret death lists confirmed, but in every major city in the country, they will pay to have your sex changed. And I'm not bashing people that do that. The point is, our priorities are all screwed up. Dow Jones tumbles 350 points. Kurt Nimmo has a story, just went live on Infowars.com. This is a chilling headline by Paul Joseph Watson. Houston demands to see pastors' sermons, a chilling attempt to silence free speech. And that's why I mentioned the transgender stuff. They've banned that in Canada. They arrest you if you criticize homosexuality. Whether you agree with that or disagree, agree with free speech, folks. And it says city demands religious leaders reveal communications on transgenders. I mean, this is what the city council is trying to do right now. You can't make up this bizarreness. How about you get a plan for Ebola, huh? Obama cancels trip, calls for emergency meeting on Ebola. Now that he knows it's spread beyond their control on purpose. That's just some of the news up on Infowars.com. Alexa, owned by Amazon, caught targeting conservative websites, question mark. I don't think there's any question mark about it, but it's an excellent article by Don Salazar. We subscribe to it to track it as one rating service. And our internal number, which we show, the graph shows we're exploding, but the public number they put out shows us losing like 90% of our audience. Same with Drudge, WorldNet Daily, everybody else. While Media Matters, MSNBC that we dwarf, explode. I mean, this is just totally staged. And it just shows how rigged things are. Going back to James Wesley Rawls, he'll be with us 5 minutes the next hour. Then it's your calls. I want to talk about his new book coming out at the end of the month, Liberators. James, what do you make of the head of the NIH? I have the article right here. Comes out and says, we may need to deploy the vaccine to the entire community. Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the U.S. National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Disease, the National Institutes of Health, wants to vaccinate the whole country with an experimental Ebola vaccine that just so happens is going to come out in December. The first, I guess, somewhat not approved, but ready for distribution. Well, that's right on time, James.
All I can say to folks is beware, because the history of vaccinations in this country is just checkered with horror stories of contaminated inoculants. And even if they had a successful Ebola virus vaccination, who's to say what else could be in it that would have long-term deleterious effects? I would recommend that people not take that inoculation. I think it would be foolish of them. I would much rather wait and hunker down with my family here at my ranch than go in and take that inoculation. That is absolute insanity.
Well, look, in California last year, they admitted that the MMR shot was giving people what it supposedly treated. A lot of these new vaccines are actually live viruses. I mean, I wouldn't trust this group. I wouldn't trust Bill and Melinda Gates and Monsanto. And it's not that we don't believe that there's some science behind it, inoculation theory. It's 500 years old with smallpox. It's that we can't trust this group with their whole history of secret testing.
Right. Yeah, there is great cause for concern, and I think that it would be foolish of people to just rush out and take this inoculation. Who knows? There could be, as you mentioned, live virus contamination. So instead of stopping a pandemic, they could actually be proliferating it into all 50 states with their own inoculation. So folks need to beware, and they need to be in prayer as well, that we need God's protection from this.
Oh, I have 3 children. I have a lot of family. I know a lot of you do too out there. It makes me beyond angry. It's just so disgusting they haven't shut down those flights because, James, as Africa continues to collapse, more are going to come. We may be able to contain this, but not all the new people pouring over. We'll be back in 1 minute for final comments from James. Then I got John McCain being confronted, your phone calls, and more. Third hour coming up. You need to tell your friends and family to tune in because we need to get people organized.
The Genesis Communications Radio
to force the control of our borders.
You've heard about the essential qualities of iodine when it comes to your well-being, and you've read the opinions of top experts regarding this good member of the halogen family. Still, reports indicate that iodine is absent in sufficient amounts from the daily lives of countless people worldwide. Now, our extra-strength new nascent iodine formula is here, Survival Shield X2, leading the way into the next generation of super high-quality nascent iodine. InfoWars Life Survival Shield X2 is derived from 200+ million-year-old salt solutions found more than 7,000 feet below the Earth's surface. The result is a unique nascent iodine that is both concentrated and free of unwanted additives, genetically modified ingredients, and completely vegan. We even pre-screen our Survival Shield X2 iodine for radiation. Pure, clean, and sourced from deep within the Earth, X2 nascent iodine is available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or call 1-888-253-3139.